I think silence and solitude are tremendously important, a really important part of our Christian life. We live in a world of busyness and hurry and noise and distractions. For most of us, life is incredibly hectic, and I think a lot of us find that that same kind of noise and hurry and rush and chaos really is reflected inside ourselves, that there's this kind of chaotic world going on within that reflects the chaotic world without. And in the middle of all of that, it's really hard for us to figure out, but really, who am I? And where is God in the middle of all this? And how in the world am I going to hear God's voice when I'm surrounded by so many other voices all the time on the television and on the radio and on the internet and in the newspaper and all over the place? And of course, it is possible to be with God anywhere, and of course it is possible to listen to God's voice anywhere, but when we find ourselves in silence and solitude, it becomes much easier. So it becomes a really great place for us to meet with God, and it becomes a really great place for us to practice meeting with God in other places. We learn to recognize what the presence of God is like and what the voice of God sounds like. And I think for many of us, we begin to learn something about ourselves as well, as some of this chaos begins to abate a little bit. It can be difficult for us to practice silence because we have to find times and places when we can do that. For some it's easier, for some it's more challenging. And I guess my biggest piece of advice to somebody who wanted to step into that experience of silence would be, work with what you have. I mean, you know, if you live next door to a monastery and you can go and spend a day in total silence and prayer, and if you've got the stamina for that, because it can be quite tiring being in silence, go do it. If you're a single mum and you're living in a flat with 5 kids screaming at you, and you have a job and you have to have shopping to get, and you can grab 30 seconds at the end of the day before you collapse, grab them. And don't beat yourself up that you couldn't get any more. Take what you can get and enter into that silence as fully as you can with as much or little time as you have available. The silence will be a gift to you, and you don't have to do anything with that time except be with God. It can feel amazingly difficult because we think, I'm wasting time. I'm just wasting time here. I should be getting on with something. Well, you know, when we really want to be in somebody's company, we're happy to waste time with them. You know, we're happy to waste time with a husband or a wife or with children or with friends. We're happy to give up hours of just to be with them and to get to know them. It's fine to waste time with God. In fact, you'll find in the end that it has been a great investment in your life and in your relationship with God. But if it feels like wasting time at the beginning, just go with it. Waste a bit of time with God. You'll be glad you did.